Wow, why is food so pricey now? The last time I went grocery shopping, I felt like I might need to sell my kidney. Lately, the price of food has gone up, but some items like olive oil and saffron have always been super expensive. The reasons for this are surprising. So whether you love trying fancy food or you're more of a microwave chef, get ready to be amazed by the incredible reasons why certain everyday food items are so expensive. Wow. Olive, Olaf, Olav. I bet many of our mums have similar items in their kitchen cabinets. They might have an old baking dish, a kitchen mixer from a long time ago, and a bottle of olive oil. Now, I can't say for sure where the mixer and baking dish came from, but I can definitely tell you where olive oil comes from: the grocery store. But how olive oil gets to the grocery store is a bit more complicated. And is it worth the money when you could buy sunflower or vegetable oil for much less? Well, for many people it definitely is worth it. In fact, the global olive oil market was valued at a whopping $12.3 billion in 2022 and is expected to keep growing. But why is something as seemingly simple as olive oil such a profitable business? To find out, let's start with the basics. So what exactly is olive oil? It's the fat extracted from olives, and it's not only delicious but also has numerous health benefits and can help you stay looking good. Not all olives are the same. Many factors like altitude, harvest times and harvesting methods affect the quality of the olive oil you find in stores. However, the most critical factor is the type of olive, called the cultivar, and how farmers have bred them over centuries to produce the best oil. Now, if the best olives make the best olive oil, where can you find the best olives? Olive trees can thrive in various climates, but they do love that Mediterranean sunshine. The largest producers are Spain, Italy, and Morocco, with Spain leading by a large margin. But there's more to it. It takes several years for a new olive tree to bear fruit. Once the fruit is ready, it needs to be harvested at the right time to get the best yield. This usually happens in September and October when the olives are full of oil. As November rolls in and the weather cools down, the oil production slows. By this time, the olives are so ripe that they start falling off the trees, and if they hit the ground, the oil can start to break down and lose quality. So workers have to pick the fruit quickly to prevent any waste. To make a gallon of olive oil, you need about 50 pounds of olives, which amounts to around 36,000 olives. Each tree typically produces between 33 to 44 pounds of olives in a year, so to make any money, farmers need many trees. But that also means more land and more workers. Even with the best olive pickers in the world, the cost can add up quickly. Some opt for mechanical harvesting, which is faster but can be tough on the trees and expensive. Others prefer traditional manual methods, like using nets and sticks to gently knock the olives loose. This method is gentler on the trees but produces a lot less yield. Once the olives are harvested, they go through a process of washing and crushing. This creates a paste that is then processed in a mill to extract the oil. Temperature control is crucial as temperatures over 122 degrees Fahrenheit can harm the oil's quality. After all these steps, the olive oil needs quality control. Extra virgin olive oil is the highest quality, with low acidity and excellent flavor. Virgin olive oil is slightly lower in quality, while regular olive oil is of lesser quality. Some cheaper olive oils may contain other oils like vegetable or palm oil, which can reduce the overall quality. Palm oil, for example, is highly efficient to produce but has negative environmental impacts, such as deforestation in tropical rainforests. In summary, making olive oil is a complicated and time-consuming process, which contributes to its cost. Olive oil's quality can vary significantly based on various factors. It's a product that requires careful attention and expertise at every step of the production process. Crocus pocus. Abracadabra, forget about olives, let's dive into something more adventurous in the kitchen. Ever encountered saffron? It's a crimson spice cherished in European, South Asian and Middle Eastern cuisines for its unique sweet and floral flavors. But saffron isn't just for the palate. It has a rich history of being used in ancient beauty treatments, textile dyes, and even traditional medicine. In fact, saffron has always been held in high regard. with moments in history when its price per pound soared to over 3 times that of gold. Even today, the finest saffron can fetch an astonishing $5,000 per pound. Astonishing, right? But why is saffron so expensive? The answer lies in its incredibly labor-intensive harvesting process. Saffron is obtained from the crocus sativus flower, to be precise, from its stigma, which acts as a pollen receptor. Each flower produces only 3 stigmas, and once they're plucked, they're gone forever. These precious strands are incredibly delicate, and any attempt to use machines would harm them. Saffron farmers must carefully hand-pick the flowers and then painstakingly extract the stigmas. To make things even more challenging, this must all be done before sunrise because saffron strands are so fragile that even brief exposure to sunlight can damage them. And that's not all. A full-time saffron farmer working tirelessly throughout the day rarely collects more than a single jelly bean's weight of saffron. After harvesting, all those delicate strands must be meticulously dried, a process that can take up to 10 days. So, considering the labor costs and the extraordinary complexity involved in producing this spice, it's no wonder saffron is the world's most expensive spice by a colossal margin. A tiny pinch of saffron is enough to flavor your food, or else your favorite saffron-infused dishes would lead to remortgaging your house. Now, for the home cook enthusiasts out there, before you start to feel uneasy, I'm aware that you have saffron in your pantry that you didn't spend a fortune on. However, are you absolutely certain that what you have is the genuine article? When a product is in limited supply and its prices keep rising, it attracts counterfeiters. In a 2019 raid on a factory in Alicante, Spain, authorities uncovered $900,000 worth of fake saffron set to be distributed throughout Europe. Many products labeled as saffron on supermarket shelves might be fraudulent, containing materials like dyed corn silk or even authentic saffron diluted with cheaper substances like plant fibers. So how do you ensure that you're getting the real deal? Well, for starters, consider the price. If a saffron deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. Don't risk being duped by attempting to cut costs. Secondly, choose a reputable seller. Iran is responsible for 90% of the world's saffron production, making it a good place to start your search. However, if you're seeking the absolute best, look to Kashmiri saffron, which is crafted from longer stigmas. Of course, higher quality comes with a much higher price tag. So if you're in the mood to splurge on a special night in, be my guest. As for me, I'll be placing an order with DoorDash. Millionaire Vanillionaire. Forget silver because the second most expensive spice might just astonish you even more than the first. You're probably more familiar with this flavor, whether it's in your morning coffee, sweet treats, or consumed directly from the ice cream tub during a post-breakup cry session. Yes, I'm talking about vanilla, the world's second most expensive spice. Vanilla, in its pure pod form, sells for an astonishing $600 per pound. Quite a turnaround from being labeled as boring, wouldn't you agree? But here's where things get interesting. You could stroll into a grocery store and pick up a pint of vanilla ice cream for just a couple of bucks. So where's all that vanilla in your dessert? The truth is, it's not there. Hold on before you storm into that store waving your receipt and demanding a refund. Let me clarify. The vanilla flavor in your lattes and desserts is typically not sourced from actual vanilla pods. Instead, it comes from an artificial compound known as synthetic vanillin. Picture it as the vanilla your mum claims to have at home. Chemically, it's similar to real vanillin found in vanilla pods, but in reality it's created from a different molecule, such as eugenol, extracted from aromatic spices like cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg. Eugenol goes through a process called isomerization, rearranging its atomic structure into something akin to organic vanillin, referred to as isoeugenol. It's then mixed with an alkali and subjected to an oxidation process, which combines it with oxygen, completing the transformation required to flavor all your beloved snacks. Who would have thought that your Twinkies and favorite desserts were such scientific endeavors? In today's world, it's far more common for vanilla-flavored products to contain this synthetic vanillin rather than actual vanilla. But why is that the case? Genuine vanilla is obtained from a specific type of orchid originally found in Southern America and Mexico. However, that's no longer where the majority of the world's vanilla comes from. In the late 1700s, much of the global vanilla trade shifted to Madagascar. However, the farmers faced a significant problem. Vanilla orchids can only be naturally pollinated by the Mexican Melipona bee, which was nowhere near Madagascar. Without the bees, there were no beans. After decades of attempting to grow vanilla pods and failing, the farmers had to take on the role of pollinators themselves. They figured out a more practical method. Vanilla orchids have both male and female reproductive parts, but they require some assistance. This is where the farmers come in. Using a fine pointed stick, they lift the delicate membrane separating the male and female parts and gently bring them together by pinching their thumb and forefinger. This pollinates the plant, and a vanilla pod begins to form almost immediately. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. It's delicate and painstaking work. To complicate matters further, vanilla orchids bloom for just one morning each year. If you decide to sleep in that day, well, you might want to consider a different line of work. Perhaps a night shift job would be more suitable? But there's more to it than just pollination. Vanilla pods are ready for harvest about 9 months after pollination, but then they undergo an extensive curing process. First, they are blanched in hot water and placed in large sweat containers for 36 to 48 hours. This is when the green pods start turning brown. Following that, they go through a cycle of drying outdoors in the sun during the day and returning to the sweat box at night, alternating for 5 to 15 days. Afterward, they go through a slower indoor drying process in a well-ventilated room, set atop special drying racks. The entire journey from growing and pollinating to obtaining export-ready beans takes approximately a year. During this time, every 5 to 7 pounds of green beans shrinks down to just 1 pound of processed vanilla. No wonder it's so pricey. So I'm hoping Dairy Queen continues to use that synthetic Nilla, or else my ice cream baths are about to get quite expensive. No kisses for you. I confess I'm an avid snacker. There's rarely a 45-minute window where I don't indulge in a mouthful of Butterfinger, my beloved candy bar, but I'd never pause to contemplate the intricate process of crafting the chocolate that graces my favourite treat. To my astonishment, cacao, the source of chocolate, is an exceedingly challenging crop to cultivate. Due to the asynchronous ripening of cacao pods, farmers must maintain constant vigilance year-round. Within each pod there nestle 20 to 50 beans ensconced in a white pulpy fruit. These pods are methodically cleaved from the cacao trees with machetes and split open, their bean-laden goodness extracted. But curb your snack cravings, for these uncouth and unsweetened beans are intensely bitter in their raw form. Before they can metamorphose into delectable chocolate, they undergo a 6 to 10 day fermentation period to obliterate the seed coat encasing the beans, a process that heightens their flavor. Subsequently, the beans endure a 5 to 10 day drying period, are sorted, and are finally ready for sale. It's a taxing ordeal. Indeed, it is. A single cacao tree necessitates an entire year to yield slightly over a pound of cocoa. Therefore, farmers must tend to a considerable number of trees, which translates into an immense workload. You might be wondering why cocoa features in a discourse on expensive foods when, in the West, chocolate is relatively affordable. Candy bars typically cost just a couple of dollars. Hold on to your cocoa pods, because here's the kicker. It is real chocolate. In most Western nations, chocolate is readily accessible and budget-friendly. Regrettably, this isn't the case for the growers. Over a third of the world's cocoa production emanates from the Ivory Coast, where it costs a mere $2.70 for a chocolate bar, a sum we might consider trivial. Yet this translates to 1/3 of a farmer's daily wage. In our pursuit of economical and delightful chocolates, the farmers, who are the backbone of this supply chain, are compensated inadequately for their toil. This isn't a call for guilt when savouring an occasional sweet indulgence. Instead, it's a reminder to seek out fair trade labelled goods which guarantee a minimum price for the laborious work of these farmers. With my newfound knowledge and appetite for justice, it's time to wrap up this video. My hands are worn from their labour, and I've never exerted myself so diligently in a single day. Which of these valiant harvests struck a chord with you? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.